everybody, welcome back to Michelle's Garden. Today is the day I'm going to be putting my seeds in my soil. My last video I showed you guys the trays that I use, and the soil that I use is called, what is that called? ProMix potting soil. I've got that in the organic and in like, I guess you would call it regular, because one comes in a red bag, one comes in a yellow bag. You can get that at Walmart. It's a little over $11, $11.94, I think. I usually try to stock up on that when they put that out because I like to keep plenty of it around. I use that in my green stalks also. So I've got this box of little tags that I write on, that I stick in the soil to label my plants, and I use a Sharpie. You can get this box of these labels off of Amazon. Yeah, you can get those off Amazon. Okay, so I'll show you the seeds that I'm going to be planting. Now I am selling tomato plants, so I'm going to be growing some of your basic tomatoes for selling, because if you try to grow heirlooms to sell to people, if they're not familiar with what they look like, or you know, they've never grown them before, they're really not interested in buying heirloom tomatoes like your let's see, I've got Abe Lincoln, Millionaire, Mortgage Lifter, stuff like that. If they don't see it in the store where they're buying seeds, well then, you know, they're not familiar with that. Or when they go to the box stores to buy plants, that's what they're looking for. And that would usually be like your beefsteak, your early girl. This is the kind of stuff you can buy in Walmart. I see these in Lowe's, and I'm pretty sure Tractor Supply probably carries them too. So I'm going to plant a lot of those. The early girl, the beefsteak, the Rudger, Better Boy. Did I say Better Boy? And that's the kind of stuff that I'll sell. And then I'll offer, you know, some things that they're not familiar with to see if they're interested. But for my garden, I've got some new stuff I'm going to be growing this year, and I'm trying to keep it down to about 50 plants, because I'm bad to plant a lot, just because I want to plant everything. I want to taste everything. I want to see how everything grows, but sometimes it's just not logical to do that if you are going to have a lot of waste. And I have done that in the beginning of gardening. I just planted everything because I wanted to plant. I was so excited about it. And I did have a lot of waste, but now last year I gave a lot of tomatoes away. So one of them that I'm starting this year, and I'm doing this for production, I can grow less plants but have a lot of tomatoes, and this is called a Grand Marshal. It's supposed to be like the shape of an apple. It's called the apple of tomatoes, and this is from Johnny's Seeds. So I'm going to start that in my garden, and I may plant a few of those to sell. There's another one called Hausnader, and I did grow that in my garden, and it's just a beautifully shaped tomato. Excuse me, a lot of people want a tomato that's just nice and round and good size for a sandwich, and they don't want a lot of, you know, wrinkles in it and bad spots in it. And so I've had great success with the Hausnader from Haus Tools. Let's see what else. I am going to try to grow the Black Beauty tomato from Wild Boar Farms. Now, I think they are the original ones to come up with this tomato. And so this is what the little seed pack looks like. But you can also get these from Baker Creek, and it will show what the tomato looks like on the front. I think I got one I could show you, because I ordered a pack from Baker Creek so that I would have plenty. There's 25 seeds to a pack, I do believe. Yeah, this is the Black Beauty tomato. And from what I understand, the more that it's in the sun, the more you'll get that color from it. And the inside is, you know, red like a regular tomato. So that's a new one to my garden, the Grand Marshal. And I think I'm going to be doing some, cherry tomatoes. Red Snapper is supposed to be a good tomato. That's from Haas Tools. That's supposed to be like a tomato plant that puts off a lot of tomatoes. Probably good sized tomatoes. I don't think I've grown the Red Snapper. Rebecca Allen is going to go in my garden. That is from Baker Creek. I don't think I had this last year, but I don't think I grew any of them. Here's what the Hossinator looks like on this pack. It didn't have it on the other pack. I order a lot from Haas Tools. This is called Chef's Choice Pink. I'm going to try that this year. What else do I have here? Here's the Chef's Choice Orange. Looks more like a yellow tomato, but I'm going to plant that. And I'll probably sell some of those too. And then I've got this one called Granny Cantrells. And I've heard that this can be a 2-pound tomato. It can be a very enormous tomato. And so this is from M.I. Gardner. I order a lot from him, and I want to try this for the first time. I like to have something different. And for my cherry tomatoes, this is a black cherry from Baker Creek. I plant this every year. This tomato is about the size of a quarter, maybe sometimes a little bit bigger. But, you know, sometimes when you plant a cherry tomato, you got these little red tomatoes, and they're very tart. I mean, they're just very powerful with flavor, and a lot of people don't like them, and they might have like a harder skin on the outside. Well, this black cherry is awesome. I mean, it doesn't have that kind of flavor. It's got more like of a tomato flavor, and I plant it every year. It's just great. And then, of course, Brad's Atomic Grape. This also is from Baker Creek, and I planted one of these last year, and it's sort of like the shape of a football, like a miniature football. And the texture of this was awesome. And so I'm going to put that in my garden this year too. So somehow I got to figure out how to get 50, only 50. I'm going to try to keep it to that. But that's what I'm doing today, putting those in the trays and labeling them, getting them ready. But I think we'll walk out to the garden because I wanted to show you guys what the garden looks like right now. I haven't done a whole lot of weeding, haven't been out there much. I've been battling kidney stones, and every time I go out in the yard and try to do something, whether it's yard work or work in the garden, I end up in pain, you know. So I've been to the doctor. They diagnosed kidney stones, and so I got to go to a urologist whenever I get an appointment, get that blasted out, which I'm not in any hurry because I'm stubborn. I'm very stubborn when it comes to medical issues, and I don't go unless I'm dying, and a kidney stone does make you feel like you're dying. So let's walk out to the garden and see what we got going on out there. One more thing before we go out to the garden. When I was talking about growing in pots and stuff like that, when you up-pot your plants, you don't have to up-pot your plants. You can put them in one pot and grow that till the time you put it in the ground. But I found these last year at Walmart in the toy section. They were 99 cents a piece, and I just thought they were pretty cool for growing plants in. You get this in the area where the kids' sand stuff is. These cute little pots. Make sure you drill a hole in the bottom though. They don't have holes in them. You want to be able to have some drainage, but I thought those were pretty neat. They had the square ones also. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay guys, we're headed outside. Got my cup of coffee. Try to get out the door without dropping anything. And shut the door. All right, I did it. I got my cow cup. I hope someday to have cows, and I hope they're that color. That's beautiful. Okay, let's walk up here. It's about 59 degrees out here this morning. It's like mid-morning. Winds blowing like 12 miles an hour. We're supposed to have some really high winds tomorrow, and it's going to be like in the low 80s, high 70s, low 80s. It's days like this that make me wish I could be home every day. Before we head up to the garden, I'm going to show you this one area over here that I had marked off last year, and my intention was to build a raised bed for strawberries. Well, of course I didn't, but I am really going to work on that this year. You know, I want to get that done. It's just that, let me get my hair out of my face. Ooh. Materials are like outrageously priced. You know, I want to use metal like tin, like roofing tin, and it is $21 and change for a 2x8 piece of roofing tin, and then of course I got to get the lumber. Then I got to fill it with compost. But right here is where I'm going to be putting this. So I had that marked off last year. I think that's like 30 feet long, 3 feet wide. But I am going to do it, guys. It just takes time, you know. Everything is time and money. And now I'm working full time. That's more money, but less time. But I'm going to get it done. Our fruit trees are coming along pretty well. Let me show you the garden from this angle. You see the greenhouse back there. Hopefully, we will get the plastic on that this spring. I'm hoping that at least by April, we will have the plastic on that thing. It's ready for the plastic and the vents. It's just a matter of getting a day where the wind's not blowing, it's not raining, it's warm. You know, all the stars have to be lined up just right. My beautiful arbor. I got to figure out what to grow over this thing to make it even more lovely. I got to get me a new sign for my gate. I like to change that every year. This little butterfly I think I got from the dollar store. It's rusted and worn out, but let's go in here and see what we can see. Okay, so I did get my coffee sat down. These are my smaller raised beds that I had stuff growing in, and they're growing weeds now. My carrots were in here. They didn't make it when we had that Arctic blast. So this row right here was all onions that I had started from seed, and they looked really good until we got that cold freeze, and about 3 of them survived. Well, actually 4 of them right there. So I have planted in here. I went and bought some bulbs from Walmart, onion bulbs. This whole row is full of onions, and I just did that 2 days ago. So we got a little bit of time before that comes up. All these other rows here are just empty right now, except the one on the very end. It has onions also. And my little arch here with my pool noodles, that is just regular fencing. It's not very sturdy. It's not good for an arch. That's why it has the pool noodles on it. But I'm going to have to reinforce that this year or try something different. All the weeds growing. I got a lot of weeding to do. And here's the onions that survived the freeze. These, I think, were just bulbs that I had put in the ground that made it. All of the onions that I had from Dixondale Farms that were onion sets, I think I had like 1 or 2 that survived. There's one of them that survived that. Then over here's my other beds. Now I had said in a video that this whole other side of the garden here was going to be nothing but raised beds. And it is going to be raised beds. It's just taken me some time to get the materials together. Everything is so expensive. But I am going to have raised beds on this side of the garden before the end of this year. I may not get to start growing in on this growing season, but I am going to keep gathering the materials so that maybe hopefully by the fall I can start building them, because they're going to be 24 feet long. I'm not sure how many I'm going to get, in this side of the garden, but I estimated 5 raised beds, 24 feet long, 3 feet wide, possibly 4 feet wide, hadn't decided yet. Just for the metal is going to cost me about $800. That doesn't count the wood that I have to have. But it's something I really want. It's something I wanted to do in the garden, when I first built this garden, but financially I wasn't able to, and that was in 2020, and now here we are 3 years later, and materials are triple the price. But it's my passion, it's my hobby, it's what I love, and I'm just determined to make it happen. I just am. I just want to grow in raised beds. I just feel like it'd be easier on my back and everything. So guys, that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing the seeds. As soon as I get that done, if I'm able to get out here and do a little bit of weeding, I'm going to do that. The only thing I have in the garden right now is onions, but I want to get it ready for potatoes. I'll be doing that in March. So you guys just stick with me and hang out with me, and we're just going to grow in the backyard together and just enjoy gardening together. Thank you guys for joining with my channel. If you'll hit the like button, that really helps me out a lot. Appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.